orders and bans mentioned in those scriptures according to the Bible. Young women must be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, and be obedient. Christians must be kind of brotherly love one to another. They must not be idolaters. They must not be like hypocrites in prayer. They must not be afraid of man. They must not be drunk with wine. They must fear Allah. They must not fear man and persecutors. They must flee from fornication and idolatry. They must not commit adultery. They must not kill. 7 things they must abstain are idols, fornication, strangled meats, eating blood, meats offered to idols, all appearance of evil, and fleshly lusts. Finally, they must be merciful and thankful. The Quran has similarities with the Bible in terms of the above commands. According to the Quran, women must be obedient towards their husbands. Believers must not ascribe partners to Allah, and hence must not be idolaters. The Quran condemns the behaviors of hypocrites in prayer. Believers are ordered to only fear Allah, must avoid adultery, must not kill an innocent person, must not consume dead animals, blood, and the flesh of swine, are forbidden to drink alcohol, and must strive against evil. On the other hand, the Bible contains certain commands, which contrast with fundamental principles stated in the Quran. Particularly, the Bible states that Christians must be ready for Christ's coming. They must bless those who curse them, and who are persecutors. They must love their enemies. The Quran, however, states that believers must not love those who oppose Allah and His Messenger. You will not find a people who believe in Allah and the last day having affection for those who oppose Allah and His Messenger, even if they were their fathers, or their sons, or their brothers, or their kindred. In another verse, the Quran orders believers not to consider the Jews and the Christians as their allies. O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and the Christians as allies. They are, in fact, allies of one another. And whoever is an ally to them among you, then indeed he is one of them. Indeed, Allah guides not the wrongdoing people. Further, the following verses of the Bible contrast with fundamental principles of the Quran, which does not prohibit believers to perform marriage after getting divorced, and if she divorces her husband and marries another man, she commits adultery. Anyone who divorces his wife and marries another woman commits adultery, and the man who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. The Quran and the Bible have some similarities and differences in the commands mentioned in those scriptures. This leads us to the Islamic view that although the Bible was originally revealed by Allah, it was later falsified by its followers and hence cannot be considered entirely a divine book. This is one of the reasons why the Quran was revealed to Muhammad, PBUH, the last prophet of Islam. Jesus, PBUH, mentioned in these scriptures. One of the main matters about which the Quran differs from the Bible is how Jesus, PBUH, is perceived. Unlike the Quran, the Bible considers Jesus, PBUH, as Allah, which is understood from the following verses of the Bible. Yet for us, there is but one Allah, the Father, from whom all things came and for whom we live. And there is but one Lord, Jesus, PBUH, Christ, through whom all things came and through whom we live. I and the Father are one. The Son is the image of the invisible Allah, the firstborn over all creation. Contrasting with the Bible, the Quran views Jesus, PBUH, only as a prophet, who is not fundamentally different from other prophets of Islam. Like other prophets, Jesus, PBUH, was able to show miracles with the permission of Allah. Examples of those miracles are stated in the following verse of the Quran. And make him a messenger to the children of Israel, who will say, Indeed I have come to you with a sign from your Lord, in that I design for you from clay that which is like the form of a bird. Then I breathe into it, and it becomes a bird by permission of Allah. And I cure the blind and the leper, and I give life to the dead by permission of Allah. And I inform you of what you eat and what you store in your houses. Indeed, and that is a sign for you, if you are believers. From the perspective of Islam, the Bible's fundamental claim that Jesus, PBUH, is Allah, is also an indication that it was falsified. The reason is very clear. Jesus, PBUH, is simply Allah's servant, who was created by Allah and died as any ordinary human does. Other differences between the Quran and the Bible. In this section, we point out certain differences between the Quran and the Bible, such as the fact that the Bible regards Jesus, PBUH, as Allah, while the Quran views him as merely a prophet. There are other differences between those books, which are listed below. It is agreed in the Christian world that the Bible was written after the departure of Jesus, PBUH, by his followers. Besides, there are so many true versions of the Bible. This clearly denies that it is directly sent by God. On the other hand, the Quran has a single version, which directly spread through Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. While it is stated in the Bible that all the humans born in a sinful nature, the Quran views the newborn as innocent. According to the Bible, Allah rests and sleeps, whereas the Quran states that Allah does not need a rest and never sleeps. The Bible claims that Allah can be seen, whereas according to the Quran, Allah can never be seen. According to the Quran, Allah's prophets are distinguished people who have good manners and are role models for believers, but prophets in the Bible were claimed to commit indecency such as incest, and the older daughter said to her sister, "Our father is old, and there is no man to be a husband to us in a natural way. Come, let us give our father much wine, and we will go into his bed, so that we may have offspring by our father." The Quran orders believers to not harm innocent people during a war, whereas the Bible orders its followers to kill innocent women and children. The Lord of Armies says, "I will give punishment to Amalek for what he did to Israel, fighting against him on the way when Israel came out of Egypt. Go now and put Amalek to the sword, putting to the curse all they have, without mercy. Put to death every man and woman, every child and baby at the breast, every ox and sheep, camel and ass." The Bible claims that more wisdom causes one to have more grief, and that an increase in knowledge results in an increase in sorrow. The Quran, however, encourages believers to increase their wisdom and knowledge.